Hi Virgo, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to your Taurus season horoscope reading. First, I have the chart up here, so I'll go over that in a second. But first, I want to ask you all to subscribe if you haven't, like and share. I would be very grateful. That helps me build the channel. Also, if you're interested in a personal reading, my website is up and you can reach me through the contact section at jovesstar.com. That's JOVESSTAR.com. And you can also read a little bit about me while you're over there. So, let's get into your reading. Virgo rising. A lot going on for you this month, probably for a while, but this month. And so we'll start off with the Sun in Taurus, which is in your ninth house of higher learning, the higher mind, philosophical truth, your spiritual integration. And so you are probably pretty focused on learning as much as you can about your connection to your own spirituality or what your truths are in general. Uranus is there, so you could be having some very significant experiences and intuitive hits where that's concerned. Mercury is there as well, so you could be talking a lot about that, exploring those things, making plans even to further your education where that's concerned. The North Node in Taurus is there, so the nodes of fate are in Taurus and Scorpio for all of us, and for you is transiting your ninth house of spiritual integration and higher learning. So I would imagine that you have been feeling a push for quite some time, for whatever reason, to actually learn more about what you believe in, or just learn more about something in general that interests you or that will elevate your education and move you towards your purpose, because that's the ninth house, and your purpose is over your midheaven, and then of course your career and your commitments and how you stand out in the community is your 10th house. So you're cooking something up there in the ninth house and you're learning, and the nodes of fate are really supporting you and moving in that direction. Now, with a north node, we always have a south node, and the south node is down there in your third house of communication in Scorpio. So that is asking you to let go of what you thought that you always knew. Let go of what you learned and lived by from the time you were a young child, changing the way that you communicate. Something is being let go of or changed from the third house, and that also involves siblings as well, and your local neighborhood too. So you could be pulled out of your area and moving into somewhere else. And by the way, the ninth house is foreign travel. So if you're in a place where you're leaving your local neighborhood and moving somewhere else to get a higher level of education or something, that would fit there too. But overall, it's something about your communication style or just how you move around in your immediate environment that is changing or being let go of and moving into something higher, of a higher purpose. Saturn is in your sixth house of your day-to-day routines, and it is T-squaring the nodes there. And that's causing you some tension. Saturn has a way of transiting and teaching us lessons, holding us accountable and so that we're moving towards where we are destined to be. And so Saturn is sitting in your sixth house of your day-to-day routines and your health, asking you to change things, depending on what's going on and what you're having to leave behind in the third house and what you're trying to learn about or what you're moving towards. It could be affecting your health. If it's something that you're being forced to do and you're feeling mired down in your day-to-day routines and you don't really have time to do it, there could be some tension there possibly. Maybe you just don't feel like you have enough freedom to move and experience and learn and broaden your mind like you'd like to. That's a possibility. Nonetheless, Saturn is there saying, you still have your day-to-day routines and your health that you have to think of. So try and fit all of that in. Your seventh house is quite active, Virgo. you have, which is, most of the Pisces energy is there. And of course, depending on the degree of your ascendant and your descendant, the beginning of your seventh house could be in Aquarius and not Pisces, but this chart is a whole sign house just because it makes it easier for me to read. But nonetheless, there's a lot of activity going on in your seventh house with Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces, and they are all traveling conjunct, so that's together, combining their energies, making them all more powerful in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. So this is beautiful energy in and of itself. Neptune is at home in Pisces. Jupiter is the co-ruler of Pisces, and Venus, that is in Pisces, is exalted there. So they're very comfortable there. They operate very well there. And for you, a great expression would be that you actually have a soulmate connection that you are involved in. That would be a beautiful expression of the seventh house for those areas. Or there's something on your mind in terms of a soulmate or a longing or a spiritual connection. Neptune is our blind spot, so we could feel something and not be able to see it, and that could be causing us some confusion maybe, or some heartache. Neptune is endings as well, and with Venus sitting there, it could have been an ending to a relationship that was significant, and with a soulmate. So it just kind of depends. The important thing is that Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter, and Venus all working together, they're working in and around something that we can't see but we can sense, and it requires holding faith and just knowing that the overall universal truth is being played out as it is supposed to. That can be hard for some of us. Virgo rising is ruled by Mercury, so it's a lot of the mind and needing to know and communication. And if you're dealing with something that requires more of a faith-based type of energy or action, it can be a little difficult. So it just depends on what's going on in your life. Mars has moved into Pisces in your seventh house as well, and that could give you some inspiration to actually spice up things in the area of life for you, especially if you are cultivating a very special soulmate relationship. That would be awesome. I should also mention too that the seventh house can be business relationships as well, but it can also represent legal issues. So I say that now that I'm addressing Mars, because if there's been some kind of a legal issue that may come out of nowhere that involves money, Venus involves money. Then Mars moving in there could actually speed up the action where that's concerned, either coming towards you, because the seventh house is the house of open enemies. So if you know about that, it's like that's an aggressive energy coming towards you to resolve something like that. So that's a possibility of something that might be occurring, or you could just have a male energy coming in to your seventh house, that wants to start up a relationship or bring something to a higher level of commitment. It just depends on what's going on in your life. But the seventh house is the house of relationships and partnerships, and definitely very active with Pisces energy. If you are dealing with something that is very heavy and emotional and causing sadness in that area, like I mentioned, if there's an ending of some sort, very important to watch out for escapism, and because we can't see things clearly, we want to sort of escape from it and let ourselves go into any type of addiction, whether that be eating or over exercising or substance or something like that. Be very careful, if you're having issues in your relationships or any kind of a legal issue, or you've got people coming at you aggressively, trying to, you know, in regards to money or a relationship or anything like that, it's a good time to reach out for practical help and not, you know, go into an avoidant or an escapism type of behavior, because that would not be healthy. Although I know that it's really hard to not do that sometimes when you're struggling. So that's what's going on with Virgo rising for the most part. Let me see what else we have here. Well, you know, Pluto is still transiting, and I talked about this every month, in your 5th house of joy and pleasure and romance and children. So Pluto transits, making a change. Yours is in Capricorns. You're probably very serious about your social life. Pluto, if it's transiting for some kind of a change, maybe it wants you to focus a little bit more on joy and pleasure, maybe even children and starting a family. Could be. Pluto is at the end of its transit there in your 5th house, so there's change that's been a long time coming, and at the end of a transit of an outer planet, it can feel a little bit more intense. Right now, it's not aspecting any other planets at play. Last week, a few days ago, and then last week at the end of Aries season, it was squaring the sun, so that could have been bringing up some powerful emotions or power struggles, or, you know, something like that. But that's eased up a little bit, so that's a good thing. Okay, so that's what's going on with Virgo rising. There are 2 lunations coming up. We have a lunar eclipse May 15th that's coming up, and those are a big deal. We also have a solar eclipse on April 30th, and I said those backwards, but so lunar eclipse first on April 30th. I'm sorry, solar eclipse first. My goodness, solar eclipse first on April 30th, lunar eclipse on May 15th. And I'll be talking about that and probably a few other things in between now and then. But I will definitely see you in June for your Gemini horoscope reading. And until then, may the stars forever be in your favor. Take good care, and I'll see you soon.